It's Tuesday morning, and when you hear that music, that means another edition of Table Talk, where we go county to county here in the Coastal Bend, all to find out what you are talking about. And as we continue our journey this morning, family, faith, and add to that diversity. So this morning we're off to Portland in San Patricio County, where we find out how triumph and tragedy can change lives. At Taqueria Guadalajara on Dallas Street. The customers are hungry, leaving cooks busy keeping up with all the orders. One of the regulars, Rachel Nagir, who comes from a place where tacos aren't on the menu.
26 years ago, I asked my parents, hey, why move to Texas? 26 years later, I got to say, I love Texas. Texas is home.
They say home is where the heart is, and for Rachel, growing up here hasn't always been easy.
It was a big adjustment, like moving from a country like Trinidad to moving to Texas, like being a different color, being a different race. It was hard.
Her father moved the family from their native Trinidad and Tobago to Ingleside when Rachel was just 13.
When I first moved here, I was like, you know what? I'm not proud of who I am because people make fun of you when you're from different countries.
Leaving Rachel to turn to her family, especially her mother Salisha, whenever she faced her most trying times.
My strength came from my mom. My mom was a strong woman.
She was always there for you?
Always. Good, bad, no matter what we did, she always supported us.
But even with her mother's support, the bullying would finally take its toll, and by the 11th grade, Rachel dropped out of school. Years later, she'd go back and get her degree as a pharmacy technician. But then, 2 years ago, Rachel found herself facing the biggest challenge of her life.
My mom basically had minor pains, and she went to the doctor a couple of times and did all the tests, and everything came back okay. And then one fateful day, she went to the ER and she was diagnosed with cancer. She got diagnosed on my dad's birthday, actually, and passed away 6 months later. Happy birthday, Mom!
At her mother's grave at the Prairie View Cemetery in Aransas, there's plenty of life. Lights, flags, and flowers. It's a place where Rachel and her family find themselves often to honor the woman who was always there for them.
How were you able to get through that initial grief?
You don't get over it. Even in my mom dying days, she was laying on the bed and she's like, I wish I gave you girls more than I can. And I said, no, Mom, you did. You raised beautiful kids. So when you go to be with the Lord, know that you raised a beautiful family. You raised great kids. You had a great husband. You had a great life. And even when you're gone, you'll still be my mom. Her dying has made me weak but strong at the same time. I have more for will to do the things that I've never done before.
Like serving as a good example to her 18-year-old daughter, now getting ready to graduate.
If I was half of my mom, I'll be a better person. So my job is to live like if she was here and do the things that she would do if she was here.
What advice would you have for someone who sadly is going to lose a loved one?
So tomorrow's never promised, so I feel like, hey, you cherish your loved ones, you tell them you love them, and you take care of them. Don't wait till they're gone and be like, hey, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. No, do it now. I have no regrets with my mom, sadly. The only regret I have is that she's not here to make more memories.
Leaving Rachel to live with all the memories she and her mom experienced together. That was an interesting story, and if you'd like to see it in its entirety, you can actually go over to our Fire Stick as well as Roku to see it there. Meantime, these days, Rachel tells me she has tons of Texas pride. Everything that she's been through, she says, has made her stronger than ever before. So now, where should we go to next? 9 more counties to go this time around the Coastal Bend. You can always interact with me on my social media pages you see right there on your screen. And of course, there's my email address. Feel free to send me a note and tell me where the food is good and the talk is even better.